Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you? I'm...
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from many and all corners of the universe. We find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote channel, and our guest on this episode is the indie comic creator of Alpha Dogs. Please welcome Jon Dexter. And Jon, welcome in. How are you?
Going good. Doing well tonight.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being with us. Now, if you have any questions for Jon Dexter, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat. We're going to be keeping an eye on it as we go throughout the course of this program. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. And if you're watching this live or on the replay, we greatly appreciate it. With that being said, Jon, when were you introduced to the world of comics?
Oh boy, back when I was just a little kid, Spider-Man was all the rage of the 80s, and Hulk, they had the cartoons, and Spider-Man was Amazing Friends. That's when it really started, which, a casual fan growing up. And then when I was a teenager, the X-Men cartoon back in 93, I believe it was on Fox and Kids, and that was just like, a new awakening for me. It was basically, as a child, it was the Star Wars movies, and when I became a teenager, it was the obsession with the X-Men. I would go back and use my paper route money to buy back issues of anything that had Wolverine and Sabretooth in it. I mean, that was catnip to me. So I was a huge fan. That carried over for a long time until the Onslaught debacle happened, and I just lost all interest in comics for many years. And then my son introduced me to the Ultimate Universe. He had bought the Ultimate Spider-Man, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. A retelling, fresh, Brian Michael Bendis, Mark Millar. Those guys it really brought a resurgence in comics, which lasted, for a long time until the Ultimate War, when everybody left the Ultimate Universe. So that's really where it started.
All right. Good picks there. Sidebar here, if you don't mind me asking, have you seen the debut of the first two episodes of X-Men 97, the continuation of the original 90s animated series, as of yet?
I haven't yet. I don't have Disney Plus, but I'll probably get it. I'm sure it'll be on DVD eventually. But I've heard mixed reviews. I don't know. I hate it. I don't want it to be ruined for me, because to me it's the greatest cartoon of all time by leaps and bounds. So,
all right, that's fair. Yeah, if you want to wait till the physical media comes out, that's fine too. Some of us here are proponents of owning physical media, because you never know when Skynet's going to take over, and streaming services. Internet and streaming services may go bye-bye here at some point or another. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I've seen movies, folks. I've seen movies.
Have you watched it yet?
I've watched the first episode. I haven't seen episode 2 yet. I've been very busy this week. Things have been really crazy over here at the studio, but I'm hoping to watch episode 2 later tonight. If I don't do it tonight, I'll definitely do it tomorrow, because we are in the thick of something known as the March Madness NCAA tournament, and I'm enjoying the living heck out of it thus far. Yeah. As you can see, I'm wearing my NC State Wolfpack over here. So.
Oh, that's awesome. How did you like the first episode?
The first episode of X-Men, you mean?
Yeah.
X-Men 97? I loved it. I thought it was great.
Cool. Good to hear.
Yeah. I thought it was fantastic. I can't, like I said, I need to sit down and watch episode 2 before I can say anything else. But plus, I don't want to give away any spoilers for those of you who have yet to see it. But I really like it so far. And if you like it, that's good. And if you don't, hey, to each their own. It's okay.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get Disney Plus for like a month when they show them all.
You could. I mean, it's your option. If you want to do that, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But good names that you mentioned there, as far as the comic book characters and the artists and some of the people who put these things together. What would you say are some of your favorite comic book based movies or TV series, past or present?
Oh, growing up, I was a huge fan of the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk. That play out music, man, with him walking down. You automatically feel empathy for that character. So that would be a big one for me. And I still think you can't go wrong with a Richard Donner Superman. I know they're probably aged, but it didn't have special effects, but it had heart. And to me, that's what kind of is lacking in some superhero movies is that heart. Christopher Reeve, I don't care who it is, you'll never get a better Superman because he epitomized it off the screen as well. So, and of course, Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal is, one of the biggest, I would say, iconic characters of the last, 30 years, I would say, in the top 10, definitely.
Good. What was I going to say? Good picks there. And going back to the character of Superman for just a moment with Christopher Reeve, the line that always gets me in Superman 2 is, "General, would you care to step outside?" I mean, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
They just turn around and they're like, "Oh, the son of Jor-El. We were beginning to think you were a coward."
Yeah.
I'm not a coward, God. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. It was
The battle in Metropolis. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah. It's a real shame they fired Richard Donner and made him so hokey after that. So, but yeah, the first two are just great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the Richard Lester cut of Superman 2. I don't mind it because that's where you get the general. Would you care to step outside? Because in the Richard Donner cut, when he flies up, after he gets his powers back, spoilers for a 50-year-old movie, he says, "General, have you ever heard of freedom of the press?" And I'm like, that's not what you say to intimidate Zod. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, no, the original cut too is my favorite. Not the Richard Donner cut, but I believe he basically set it up for the second one, and then
right. Yeah, there were creative differences behind the scenes that led him to be in, which is unfortunate because but hey, look, both cuts are available on physical media, so feel free to watch the multiple cuts of Superman 2.
Yeah. The Richard Donner cut definitely is not as good as the original by far. Because I did watch the Richard Donner, and I didn't like it anywhere near as well as the original myself.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, listen, fair enough. You like what you like. There's no. What am I trying to say here? There's no shame in that.
Yeah,
absolutely not. But when did you decide to become an indie comic book writer?
Oh boy. So it all started, I guess, in 2006. I wrote my first comic book called Steelhawk, but I'd always been love of comics, then I kind of fell out of it for a while. But most of my life has been striving to become a screenwriter. And I had this idea for a storyline that was super story. And I wrote it as a comic book. It crashed and burned pretty quickly. I think like 6 people own a copy of Steelhawk. It was just not a success. So I went away from it and wrote another comic book, which I never actually produced, which I'm going to be producing here next. But then everything kind of came together. And just before COVID hit, I had this story called Alpha Dogs. We had lived in this town that had outlawed pit bulls. So we had the choice to move or go to the dogs. So, of course, we moved. And that was the emphasis of what I wanted to do, is tell the story about how dogs, much like people, shouldn't be, opinions formed with pre-existing prejudices, So my character, Buck, he is designed after my dog, the pit bull. And he's this huge hulking dog, but he has a huge heart. Kind of think of Casper, the friendly ghost. He's a great dog with a lovely heart, but everybody is scared of him because he's this big hulking white dog. That's the cover for issue 3. So him and this older, kind of grumpier pit bull have been on the run with their owner, Ina, for all of Buck's life. And finally, because there's this group of mercenaries that are attempting to kidnap him to possess his power so he can heal from any wound. He's smart enough to understand human speech, and he has a heightened strength. So all his life, him and his owner have tried to stay one step ahead of this mercenary group that are trying to kidnap him. And then finally, they find this farmland out in the country, finally going to live a nice, quiet life. Well, his owner, who has lived a extremely lonely existence, taking care of these dogs and protecting them, she gets manipulated by this fellow bioengineer, and she ends up divulging the secrets of the dog's abilities. But little does she know, he already knows of the dog's powers and has created this formula that what's in possession of their blood, he can create his own dogs with incredible powers. So he has this, here's a picture of Monto. Oh, I can't see it very good in here, but Monto is this dog that can grow 3 times his size. It's this big hulking dog, and he's the antagonist of the series. So there's the other dogs that come on and kind of join his team to try to stop Monto's owner revenge plot. So it's a lot of fun story. It's, if you like, if you're a dog lover, if you like adventure stories, a lot of mystery in it, how the dogs got their powers in the first place, why this guy is on this revenge course. So it's a fun story, and people have really responded to it. The Kickstarter is doing pretty well. I don't know if you can show the Kickstarter on your end. The videos are really great. So if people go there, it's Alpha Dogs, the trade volume 1. You can just type in Alpha Dogs or type in my name, Jon Dexter, and you'll be taken to the Kickstarter. There's another one of the covers. The covers are fantastic. This one is the Spider-Man homage, so pretty cool.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, John, and we appreciate you doing that. And yeah, we brought up some images here, some of the covers of Alpha Dogs. And once again, this is, and I quote, with our guest, Jon Dexter. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for him, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat. And if you're joining us live or on a replay, we appreciate you being here. Wow, I hear so many stories about wolves and this and that and the other, and humans having superhuman abilities. And now we're talking about not just any alpha males. No. Talking about alpha dogs. So that's, you don't really hear those kind of stories too much. I mean, as far as, where I'm concerned, I may be wrong. I mean, I've traveled a few corners here and there as far as the indie comic universe on social media and Kickstarters, but Alpha Dogs is definitely something that stands out from the rest. That is certainly true. Now, what would you say are some of the rewards about being an indie comic writer?
Just meet your fans face to face is always fun at cons. This is really my second year of doing cons. I did issue 1 in 2021 on Kickstarter. Then 2022, I did issue 2. And then after that, once I started, the wheels started, moving, and I did another series called Dinosaur Detective, which is a supernatural crime noir. You can buy that on the Kickstarter as well. But to be able to have your dream published, that is the biggest reward. To be able to hold your comic in your hand. There's very few moments in my life that have been as rewarding as the first time that I opened up my first box of the comics that were published. That was really cool. And like I said, going to meet fans at Comic Cons, that's great. It's very humbling when somebody waits a year to, and the first person they come to see is you, because they want to buy the next issue for comic.
Absolutely, good stuff. On the flip side of the coin, though, what are some of the biggest challenges about being an indie comic writer?
Money. That's always, and they'll tell you that, raising the funds. You don't do this to try and make money. I mean, you would like to, but if you're out for the money, then you're not going to last very long. That's always the biggest obstacle, is in trying to get more and more people to back your Kickstarter, which is why, go on TV podcast shows like yourself to try to drum up support and let people know about it, because, it's just me out here trying to, blow the horn and megaphone and trying to bring people over, because once someone actually puts eyes on my work, I think they really are satisfied with it. You were talking about, not very many comics like that. This is a very unique comic. You're not going to find another one on the shelf. It's got a lot of heart, a lot of theme. It's an adventure stories, these dogs that are on the run. It's great. I believe really good writing. And I think people that once they read it will really fall in love with the dogs. You've got Buck, who's very naive, this big dog, even though he's very scary looking. He's got a huge heart. He helps humans. He helps other dogs that are in turmoil. And you have a little Chihuahua named Tomko, who's his power is that he has a heightened intelligence. Well, it makes him really cocky, and he tries to use big words in front of the other dogs, and it just annoys them. You have Shelby, who is this Cocker Spaniel whose sister dies because of the experiment by the antagonist, Salem. And so automatically, you kind of feel for her, and she's quiet, kind of follows the other Chihuahua, but she's always having to save the skin all the time. So it's a fun story. You're going to enjoy it. There's a lot of action, but as I said, it's got a lot of heart too.
Got a lot of night. It's basically like Baskin Robbins. You want 31 flavors? Alpha Dogs has got them all. So
there you go.
See, there you go. No harm, no foul, and it works. It could potentially work for you who may be watching or listening to this right now. You never know. You got to give it a chance. Take a chance on something because sometimes life is about taking risks. So
yeah, I mean, if you go to the Kickstarter and you watch the trailer, if you don't automatically want to back the comic, I'm out of ideas because the trailers are all fantastic. You can watch the trailer for Alpha Dogs and then go back and watch some of the previous trailers. The trailers are great, and the covers are really great, and you can even see preview pages from the comic. So I believe that if you just go there and give it a chance, you'll be impressed.
Well, there you go. Even better. And what advice would you give to aspiring indie comic creators out there?
Don't do it. It's a pain. It's a lot of work. It's like having a second job. But if you say I don't care, I'm doing it, then you're already halfway there because you can't. You have to be fully invested. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work. You have to build up an email list, build up a following, and hopefully be a decent writer. You have to spend a lot of money. So it's a lot of work, but if, like I said, it's about the passion, about the love. It's not about making money because if you do, you're in trouble.
It's completely fair. So in other words, you've been warned.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. You've certainly been warned. Have there been any special memories for you from being at conventions or other events, whether you're there as a vendor or there as an attendee?
Yeah. So as I said, last year was my first year of really hitting the cons. I think I went to 7 last year, and I went to like 2 the year before, which was my first one. So this year I had a few kids. One kid, he was special needs, and he came to the show. He had pulled out his bag, had all my comics that he had bought the previous year. They were tattered. He had read them a bunch of times, and he asked me to sign them for him. And then his parents bought the new issue for him, and he had me sign that. He was just thrilled, and it was thrilling for me. It was really humbling and cool that I've had a few instances this year of young people coming and returning, and the first person they want to see is me to get the next issue of my comic.
Man, that's awesome stuff. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. Do greatly appreciate it. I do want to let you know, and the person who may be watching or listening to this episode of And I Quote, that we are indeed powered by our good friends over there at Poddex. Now, Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts located in the palm of your own hand. So whether you are a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out our friends over there at poddex.com. Make sure you use that code RYAN10, that's RYAN10 for 10% off your first order. Do not miss out on that opportunity provided by poddex.com. So poddex.com wants to know, what do you value most in your friends, John?
Oh boy, loyalty, I guess I would have to say. I'm sharing this on my social media. I'm sharing this as we talk on my Facebook. Yeah, I'd say loyalty. That's the biggest one. I think that's with everybody. You don't want to backstab or anything. So that would be my what I look for.
Oh, there you go. Loyalty to your fellow man. Loyalty to the end. I mean, loyalty counts for a lot of things in this world. So never hurts. What technology do you wish existed?
What technology I wish existed? Oh God,
Could be
I
anything.
love flying car. I think I really wish I could have a Jetsons car. I mean, I thought when I was a teenager, I thought that was gonna, like, we'd already be in flying cars right now. It was like just years away. I remember in high school they demoed and they showed this car that was hovering. I thought, okay, by the time I'm, in my 40s, I'll be flying around a car. And not yet. Can't even get into self-drive yet. So,
Man, I guess Back to the Future Part 2 got it wrong.
I guess so.
We would be having flying cars in 2015. We don't.
Yeah,
we don't. We didn't get it. I mean, look at the bright side. At least the Cubs won the World Series that year. So congratulations. Well done, Cubbies in Chicago over there in the Windy City with them Bears. Sorry, that's my poor attempt at a Chicago accent, which I know is terrible.
That's not bad. It's not bad. It sounds like the Chris Farley Saturday Night Live one.
That's pretty much where I got it from. So it's like, okay,
like 90% of people got it from. So
I'm trying my best here, but sometimes
it works.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It depends on. I guess it depends on the day. But Poddex is curious though. If there was what is known as a sandwich named after you, what would be on the sandwich?
Oh, definitely roast beef. Rare roast beef. That's my go-to. So roast beef, pepper jack, a lot of mayonnaise, some chipotle, and gotta have a pickle in there.
There you go. Mixture of a few different kind of things there.
I'm hungry.
Someone sounds like they're hangry. But anyway, well, hangry to me, hey, it's all subjective. But outside of that, what's your recurring nightmare? Is it a Nightmare on Elm Street, or is it something even worse?
Ask this question. I'm just kidding. I don't really have a recurring nightmare, to be honest.
Okay.
Do you have a recurring nightmare?
No, not really. No. I watched this horror movie one time, but this was years ago, and that gave me nightmares for a little while. But eventually they subsided, and I moved on with my life, as everyone should. If you see a scary movie that you don't like or it creeps you out too much, just try to.
I will say, when I was about 6 years old, my parents, I was trying to sleep on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was 6 years old, and they were watching Salem's Lot.
Oh, geez.
And I'll never forget turning my head and seeing that kid scratching on the window. I had nightmares for 6 months. It was horrendous.
6 months. Jeez.
Yeah, it was horrible. So yeah, that was my recurring nightmare for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, crazier things have happened. Anyone else have a recurring nightmare? Let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat if you feel comfortable doing so. You don't have to. We're not going to pressure anybody into doing so. But outside of that, you have $100,000, $100,000. You have to donate or create a charity. What do you do with $100K?
I would donate. Can I donate to the charity of the Jon Dexter Wants to Make More Comics Fund? Is that possible?
I mean, if you want to be creative with this question, sure, why not?
Yeah, I would be funding more comics for me. But yeah, I'm a spoiled person. What can I tell you? I'm selfish, I guess you could say. But that's would be my GoFundMe for me to make more issues. Because if I had it my way, I would probably be doing an issue every month. I've written out all of the issues for Alpha Dogs and for my other series called Dime Store Detective. So they're already written. I just got to raise the funds for the next one to produce it. So that's always frustrating, but hopefully one day, knock on wood, I'll get a publisher, and maybe it won't be such a long wait. So,
oh wow, okay, man, someone who plans ahead and gets the story down and knows where this map is leading between an Alpha Dog series and a Dime Store Detective series. My gosh. Just out of curiosity, though, how many issues are we talking about for both these series, or you don't want to give too much away?
No, so Dime Store Detective is only 8 issues. Okay. And coming up this year will be issue 4, so I'll be almost halfway done, which is great. Alpha Dogs is split into 8 to 9 issues, and there's going to be 4 to 5 parts of it. I haven't decided yet. And not all those, but the first story arc, which is 9 issues, is pretty much all written. So I just don't know. I won't be alive to probably do the whole thing by the time I get them all the way the Kickstarter going. And because I do a lot of Kickstarter, which is 3 a year, which for a lot of people is, a lot. But for me, because I have 2 that I'm going back and forth, some of them only it's an issue a year. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I see. Wow. Hey, I admire people who have a plan and put things in motion, and they say, okay, I know where the story is going to go. I'm not taking this. Some people do take it one step at a time, and that's fine. I mean, everyone has a different creative process. But it sounds like you and a few other writers that I've met over the last few years, whether it's you, whether it's Carissa Grant of WhereTheChaosComics.com, Rob Molteri of LoneWolfComics.com, you got Lori Calcaterra of Path of the Pale Rider. Like they know where they're taking this thing, with their respective projects anyway.
Yeah.
So, more power to all of you who put all the pieces of the puzzle are on a board somewhere in your master lair, and you're like, okay, this is how we're gonna get here, this is how we're gonna get there, and all that jazz. More power to you is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, thanks. We'll see what happens,
Yeah, and of course. And we wish you, Jon Dexter, the best of luck with everything that you're doing, whether it's Alpha Dogs on one side of the fence, Dinosaur Detective over here, and other stuff maybe going on in between. I'm not sure. Crossover. There's something I forgot to tell you. Don't cross the streams. Why? It could be bad. I'm a little fuzzy on the whole good, bad thing. What do you mean? Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on an 80s quoting Ghostbusters.
Yeah, got Ghostbusters. Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't help it, man. I can't help it. Sometimes these pop culture references just come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
but I do. Yeah, hey, I mean, we like what we like, right? I mean, no shame. But I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Jon Dexter for being our guest on this episode of And I Quote. We do greatly appreciate it. Jon, congratulations to you and everything that you're doing. I wish you nothing but success in the weeks and months and years to come. If someone is watching or listening to this episode of And I Quote and they want to find out more about you and purchase copies of your books, where's the best place to find you?
I'm on Facebook. All you gotta type it as JONDEXTR, Jon Dexter. Then I should come up to the top. I'm also on Twitter or X at real Alpha Dogs, and I'm on Instagram at alpha_dogs_comic. So go out there, and of course I'm on Kickstarter. If you just type in Alpha Dogs, you'll find me up there, or type in my name, Jon Dexter, to come to the Kickstarter. It ends on April 4th, so there's still plenty of time. Go check out the Kickstarter. There's a great trailer on there, great introduction to the characters. It's a really top of the line Kickstarter page for the comics, where you can see preview pages, and the tiers are pretty cheap. Only $15 for the PDF of Alpha Dogs, and the other comics have different tiers. So go check it out. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being with us here, Jon. Do greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to be talking to you here in just a bit. My name is Ryan of And I Quote Channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Make sure you're following us across all forms of social media. The links to where you can follow our guest on this episode, Jon Dexter, as well as myself, are located in the description of this episode of And I Quote. So make sure you check that out. Also, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every single one of you who helped us hit the milestone, cross what is known as a threshold. We've reached over 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for being a part of it. And whether you've liked our videos, shared our videos, commented, whatever it may be, we want to say thank you. We're going to throw a great big live stream celebration. It's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. Plans are still being made, so basically the announcement will be announced soon. We're going to have special giveaways that you, our incredible fans / subscribers, are going to be eligible to win across our social media platforms, as well as on that live stream celebration. It's going to include returning guests, some surprise guests. Maybe Jon Dexter will make an appearance. Maybe someone will let the dogs out, and maybe the dogs will make an appearance on this show. I don't know. It's up to the powers that be and the people who want to be on the show and all that jazz. So you never know what could happen. Also, we have a Buy Me a Coffee if you want to, or in our case, we like pizza. So if you want to support the show, we have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. It's in our bio as well. If you want some merch, maybe you want something to share with your friends and your family, we got shirts, we got hoodies. It's very cold out there in the Northeast right now. My gosh, is it cold. So we got hoodies, we got stickers, we got coffee mugs. We even got stationery, for Pete's sake. We got posters, stuff you can put up in your home, in your office space, your workspace, whatever it may be. Check them all out. The link is in our bio and as well as in the description below. It'll take you to our social media channels and get you all the information there. Once again, thank you so much for helping us cross over 1,000 subscribers. We could not have done this without you, our incredible listeners, our viewers, support, everyone who subscribed to the channel, whether you've been with us from the beginning or you're just joining us more recently. We appreciate you. Once again, thank you to Jon Dexter for being our guest on this episode of And I Quote. Once again, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified our new videos go up or they go live. We got movie watch-alongs coming up very, very soon. More episodes of And I Quote are coming up too, and a whole bunch of other great discussions centering around your favorite fandoms and everything else in between. And remember, life is better when supporting indie creators. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
Choose high-flying action. Choose death-defying escapes. Choose spine-tingling thrills. Choose nail-biting intrigue. Now's your chance to choose the adventure. The Captain Hawkland Adventures. Available on Amazon.com.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.